Before we finished up for the year, we were having a look at how you add, subtract, and multiply matrices by a scalar. We looked at the order of a matrix and how you calculate that. We looked at equivalent matrices. We looked at special matrices, so the zero matrix and the identity matrix. We looked at addition and subtraction. Looked at scalar multiplication. And we looked at a couple of examples from the textbook. Now, if you've done all of those, that's well and good. If you've forgotten how to do it, go back over the notes that I've uploaded and refresh yourself. Otherwise, I just want to add one little tiny thing to 7.2 before you move on to 7.3. And that thing is notation for matrices. Okay, so each of the elements in a matrix can be specified by this specific notation. So it's A, or if the matrix is B, then it would be B. And we have these subscripts, I and J. I is the row number for that element, and J is the column number. So if we consider this very large matrix here, we've got row 1, row 2, row 3, oops, and we've got column 1, column 2, and column 3. And of course that extends right up to some column J and goes all the way down to some row I. So each of those elements, so if we take this element here, it's specified by first its row number, so 3, and its column number, 2. So we'll go through some examples and it'll make more sense. So if we're given this particular matrix A, this element that I've circled is in row 3 and it's in column 2. So we'd give it the notation A32. So we can write it out as the element A32 is equal to -7. Another example, so if we're given a series of elements, so we're given that element A11 is 7, A21 is 5, A22 is 4, and A12 is 6. Now if we needed, I might get rid of that so we can see how I did it. So if I wanted to find a matrix A, we might assume that it has 4 elements since we're given 4 elements. The first element would be A11, followed by A12. Underneath would be A21 and A22. And then we just would fill in the appropriate values from the results that were given to us. So we would have 7, 6, 5, and 4. I'll actually go through the matrices on the CAS again when I do 7.3, so please watch that screencast. So the screencast for 7.3. You should have done questions 1 to 6, questions 7, 10, and 11. If you haven't done those, please make sure that you do those before you move on to 7.3. It's important also that you understand that notation for 7.3. So even though there's not really very many questions in 7.2, you'll get to practice that notation in 7.3.